Baby formula may be harder to find as some brands are being recalled. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with the details and how the effects are being felt locally.
Many companies are tossing out their masking requirements after a federal judge ruled against the national mandate. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with more on people's reactions and whether the White House will challenge the ruling coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abby. Baby formula shortages are hitting the country, and area residents say they are feeling the effects. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with officials with an area WIC program, also a local pediatrician, on the impact the formula shortage can have on families.
Anyone looking for baby formula in stores may be finding it harder amid recent recalls and shortages. U.S. retailers are limiting the amount of baby formula sold.
And of course, if you're heavily on the formula with your infant and all of a sudden you can't get that, then that creates a problem.
The Newton County Health Department's WIC program has been receiving more calls as of late, with concerned parents wondering why they can't find formula.
We have had some calls wondering why, and we explain the situation with the recall and then refer them to other brands that they can try.
Baby formula brands like Similac may be harder to find, but luckily there are some alternatives.
There are lots of good generic formulas that are going to let their baby be healthy and strong. And then they realize that they can save money in this economy. Who doesn't want to save some money?
Dr. Beth Garrett, a pediatrician with Freeman Children's Clinic, says recently she's dealt with many people concerned about finding formula.
Below the age of 12 months, if a baby is not breastfeeding, you really do need formula. They cannot drink cow's milk or goat's milk. There are some big nutritional problems that can lead to hospitalization if you use a milk other than formula. Breastfeeding is the gold standard, but we know that not all families can breastfeed due to various reasons.
For anyone trying to make their formula go farther, Dr. Garrett has a few warnings.
Some people will try to thin out their formula to make it to the next paycheck, or because maybe they can't find it, and that will cause their sodium levels to be lower. And that also can lead to seizures and to hospitalization, the baby being sick.
For best results, use the formula as instructed by a pediatrician. In Joplin and Neosho, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
For more do's and don'ts of using baby formula alternatives, head over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Meteorologist Doug Heddy joining us now. Kind of a cool day today.
Yeah, we got up into lower 60s for most of us, but we should be topping out a little bit higher than that, right around 70 for this time of the year. The clouds kind of rotated in during the afternoon. We've had showers and thunderstorms mainly north of Interstate 40. So we are miss clearing up as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Not worried about anything severe. Different story tomorrow. We'll look at that here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thanks so much. Starting next week, area gardeners are going to make their way to Neosho, Missouri, Flower Box City, for the high school's annual plant sale. Neosho Future Farmers of America are going to be selling plants ranging from flowers and bedding plants to potted plants and veggies. Plants have been grown by local agriculture and FFA students. The money raised will go back into the high school's greenhouse, as well as some activities, including a summer camp.
Yeah, they get the knowledge base for raising plants and taking care of plants, but they also get to see the finished product go out to customers, and they get to see that customer service and customer satisfaction with a quality final product.
The plant sale will run next Tuesday through Thursday from 3:30 to 6. Joplin School District staff members are going to see some pay raises. The Joplin Board of Education today approved an updated agreement with employees' bargaining units to provide the raises across most positions. Those units, Joplin National Education Association and Joplin Education Support Professionals, have been fighting for pay increases. The amount of the increase will depend on how long the employee has worked at the school district.
Main goal is our students, and our working conditions are their learning conditions, so we want to make sure that we have the best opportunity for everyone. So when they approved our ratified agreement tonight, what they basically said is that we approve all the working conditions and our CBA or our bargaining agreement plus our salary schedule.
The raises, bus drivers, custodians, and maintenance workers will be in place until June 30th of 2023. For teachers, librarians, and counselors, it's going to last until June 30th of 2024. Pittsburgh police today worked on their cardio for a good cause. As part of the 41st annual Law Enforcement Torch Run, officers ran from the Pittsburgh PD to Pitt State's football field, passing the torch to each other along the way. Today's torch run sets up the Kansas Special Olympics Southeast Spring Games next month.
So when we run into the stadium and they're kind of cheering for us, and then we get to cheer for them, and then after we're done we change into uniform and we go hand out the medals to them. So that's really fun.
Torch runs will also be held statewide, culminating in Wichita for those summer games in early June. Today, Tuesday, April 19th, marks 27 years since the Oklahoma City bombing. Survivors of the bombing, along with family members and officials, gathered at the Oklahoma City Memorial for a remembrance ceremony in honor of the lives lost. As part of today's remembrance events, officials observed 168 seconds of silence and read the names of all those killed.
It is a symbol. It is a scar that reminds us of the horrors of dehumanization. What happens when we think of our fellow human beings as mere representations of some political disagreement? When you see your fellow human beings as Republicans or Democrats, not as fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, then you have begun the process of dehumanization. You are paving the path to horror. That memorial is a symbol of that path's inevitable conclusion.
On April 19th, 1995, a bomb went off at the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building. 168 people died, hundreds more were injured. The bomber, Timothy McVeigh, was executed. His co-conspirator, Terry Nichols, is serving 161 consecutive life terms. Well, there's uncertainty surrounding a federal judge's ruling against the national mask mandate. Some are eager to toss out masks, get rid of them, while others are hesitant to do so. And now, all eyes are on the White House to see whether it will challenge the decision. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has this story from Washington.
Woohoo! I don't want to wear this anymore.
I feel like they probably should still be required because COVID hasn't necessarily left us yet.
Throughout the country, mixed reactions to a Trump-appointed federal judge's decision to strike down the national mask mandate on public transportation. Still, several companies from airlines to Uber and Amtrak are quickly tossing out their mask requirements for the first time in nearly 2 years.
Hopefully masks will be a thing of the past.
But not everyone agrees. O'Hare International Airport in Chicago, for instance, is keeping its masking rules. The patchwork of policies likely raising confusion for many.
I think we're actually unfortunately going to see still some chaos involved in these decisions just because it's not the same decision across the board.
Last week, the CDC extended the mask mandate until May 3rd to allow for more time to study the BA2 variant, now the dominant strain as coronavirus cases rise in major cities. Still, while the White House has called the federal judge's ruling disappointing, it has not indicated whether it will challenge the decision.
Mr. President, should people continue to wear masks on planes?
That's up to them. I haven't spoken to the CDC yet.
Moderna, meanwhile, sharing some good news, announcing that preliminary data shows its updated booster shot provides increased protection against variants. The White House says the Department of Justice is reviewing the federal judge's decision and will ultimately decide whether to appeal. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
All right, so Washington knows there's an inflation problem. It's how to fix that problem that the parties are split on. President Biden wants to ramp up American production, while Republicans say there has been runaway spending. Voters will choose them in November. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is in D.C. with more.
President Biden in New Hampshire Tuesday to again tout last year's bipartisan infrastructure bill. He's requiring any construction materials bought with money from the $1.2 trillion bill be American-made.
We now rank number 13 in the quality of our infrastructure. China's ahead of us. So many other countries have moved. Folks, this matters.
It's an effort to ramp up production in the U.S. and help ease supply chain pressure that has sent prices sky high and has economic experts concerned. Goldman Sachs now says there is a 35% chance of a recession in the next 2 years.
What the Fed should do is stop printing so much money and stabilize the dollar and let this thing work itself out.
Inflation is now at a 40-year high and is straining Americans' wallets.
There's no sign that inflation is slowing down. In fact, if anything, it's going stronger and stronger.
Senator Elizabeth Warren penned an op-ed in the New York Times warning fellow Democrats they need to make good on campaign promises to make the economy work better, or else they can expect a red wave in November. Republicans say they can turn the economy around if they take back Congress.
We wouldn't have dumped $2 trillion on the economy, and we wouldn't be suffering from record levels of inflation.
The Made in America material requirement will have some waivers if there's not enough supply available or if the price is too high. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Victor Yeager served in the U.S. Navy during Vietnam. A native of Joplin, Yeager presented the first POW MIA flag to the city of Joplin and raised those flags at Memorial Hall. We are proud to thank and salute Victor Yeager. He's tonight's four-state hero. Meteorologist Doug Heddy is coming up next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, undefeated Columbus heading to Pittsburgh for a doubleheader.
Not a bad day for us today. Of course, we've had some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the region, mainly north of Interstate 44, but we do have a severe threat, which is going to roll in tomorrow evening. That threat will last into tomorrow night, and even at least a low threat on Thursday, and then it returns as we head into the weekend. Temperatures really warm up. We are going to see some heavy rains, especially into the weekend. Of course, you can get the long-range forecast month-long blog, KOAM newsnow.com. All right, look at our temps right now. Mid-50s, northern counties, a lot of clouds, some showers. Everybody else still kind of hanging out in that 60 to 62 mile per hour range, but you can see the scattered showers and thunderstorms that we've had over the past several hours. Again, most of these in our northern counties kind of flaring up a bit again from Iola, Chanute down toward Parsons. And this is what we're going to see, just kind of hit and miss showers, maybe some very small hail embedded in some of these thunderstorms. But as of right now, I mean, these are pretty light, not too big of a deal. Another little batch kind of developing down through northeastern parts of Oklahoma. So hit and miss. Bigger batch is going to pass to our south. You can see it southeast of Oklahoma City. And if we go out to the west, here's our main wave that is shooting little chunks of energy at us. And that's what we're going to see over the next couple days. Severe threat tomorrow. Really most of us, and this is going to be 4 p.m. until about 11 p.m. Main threat is going to be wind and hail, so we're going to elevate hail. We do have a tornado threat, but it is low. Now, within that band, there's only going to be maybe 1 or 2 storms that pop up. So only about 20% of us will even see anything. But where those pop up, they could go severe very quickly. For the rest of the night, these hit and miss scattered showers, even a few thunderstorms, all the way into the morning hours. Here's 8 a.m. We're going to have a lot of clouds kind of sticking around into the early afternoon. Then we're going to try to break out and see some sunshine. You can see scattered thunderstorms trying to flare up. Here's 5 p.m. and rolling south and east. Now, don't take this map to heart, because if we only have one cell like this could be here, could be here, could be down here. We just know the environment is right for 1 or 2 cells to pop up. Scattered thunderstorms a little bit more numerous tomorrow evening. Then our front lifts back toward the north. So another band, showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night into Thursday morning. Then the heaviest storms lift north by Thursday. Then we got to watch Thursday late in the day into the night. A complex could head toward us into Friday morning. So you can see we have numerous rounds that we got to keep our eyes on as we go through the next few days. 67 tomorrow. 75 Thursday, 81 Friday. It's also going to be very windy over the next couple days. We'll have winds gusting 40 miles per hour tomorrow. Also on Friday. Friday looks like a great day, but it will be very windy. Thunderstorm chances arrive again late Saturday.
So we just have to see really in the end how tomorrow pans out in terms of
Yeah,
location.
I'll have a real good idea about the noon hour tomorrow. So.
Right. We'll see you in a little bit. Thanks so much. Coming up, it's officially spring. It's supposed to be officially spring.
A late nor'easter leaves thousands of people without power. I'm Katie Byrne in Binghamton, New York. I'll have the details coming up.
First, here's a look at our tower camera, sponsored by R.E. Smith Construction, as work continues on the KOAM More Power project. Check it out anytime on our website, koamnewsnow.com/power.
Dig our selection.
People across the Northeast woke up to snow this morning as a rare nor'easter made its way through the region. Fox Weather's Katie Byrne has more.
It looked more like winter than spring. A strong nor'easter leaving hundreds of thousands without power. Here in Broome County, New York, officials say it could take days to restore the electricity. The dangerous conditions knocked over trees and forced the county to issue a temporary travel ban. Crews are now out surveying the damage.
Everything just budded, so an extra weight on the trees, and with the weight of the snow, just snapped branches and tops.
Upstate New York and northeastern Pennsylvania saw the most snow, with up to a foot falling in some areas. While along the coast, periods of heavy rain caused streets to flood.
We would have to move our cars all the time, so they'll be doing that now. They'll be moving them out to the main streets.
And washed away dunes at New Jersey shore points.
Less places for people to go, so less places to sit.
The winter-like conditions stretching across the country. About 40 million people from the Central Plains to the Mid-Atlantic were under frost and freeze alerts Tuesday morning. In Detroit and Minnesota, people are shoveling out after several inches of snow fell Monday. Many wishing for an end to the colder temperatures.
Ready to get out and do stuff outside, but it's been a rough winter.
Forecasters say the Northeast will get a chance to thaw out when warm temperatures arrive later this week. In Binghamton, New York, Katie Byrne, Fox Weather.
Still add a new way to get creative while eating.
New high-tech chopsticks can help make healthy foods taste better. It's true. I'm Kevin Cork with a look at the taste-enhancing devices that can actually kickstart your taste buds. That's coming right up.
Ashley.
New high-tech chopsticks could be a real game changer for people on special diets. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork has a look at how these utensils change the way your food tastes and why they could, in particular, help people suffering from high blood pressure.
Researchers in Japan hope their new taste-enhancing chopsticks will make healthy foods, low in salt, taste better. A welcome sign for millions of Americans on low-sodium diets because of high blood pressure. The high-tech utensils are hooked up to a special computer device on the user's wrist, which causes a small electric current to flow through what they're eating, activating any sodium ions and allowing for their tongue to taste more salt than is actually in the food.
We're able to enhance the salty taste by up to 1.5 times.
Researchers hope the chopsticks can help people maintain healthy blood pressure levels. And while it's normal for your blood pressure to fluctuate throughout the day, if it remains too high for too long, medical officials say it can lead to heart disease and stroke. According to the CDC, roughly half of all adults in the U.S. suffer from high blood pressure, but only 24% properly manage it. A serious concern, as health experts report more than 500,000 people died back in 2019 as a result of hypertension.
You should make sure that your sodium intake or salt intake is less than 1 teaspoonful a day.
Besides costing lives, the CDC also says high blood pressure is costing the U.S. about $131 billion in health-related costs each and every year. The agency also reports a greater percentage of men are affected by the condition than are women. I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
Okay, so it seems teenage animals can have the same issues, many of them anyway, as teenage humans. Next, why zookeepers say that gorilla is just getting too much screen time.
Do you play at casinos?
A teen gorilla in Chicago is in trouble. He's just in trouble. He's addicted to cell phones. 16-year-old Amer is worrying Lincoln Park Zoo officials as they say he's becoming antisocial. Zoo caregivers and other staff members realized he was spending more time looking at customers' phones than with his other companions. Amer's addiction got to the point where he seemed isolated from his other fellow animals. Come on, man. The zoo is now forbidding visitors from showing their phones in the area near Amer to help him control his addiction. Nick Kelly had a good question. Where is this gorilla's parents? Step it up. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. You're going to learn how Amazon Prime is going to be shining a light on Missouri Southern State University.
The Ukrainian military says it's holding its own against a major Russian offensive in the east. I'm Trey Yingst in Kyiv. I've got the details coming up.
Amazon Prime's show, The College Tour, is on Missouri Southern's campus this week, highlighting the student experience, also the university itself. KOAM's Jalen Banks has more on this story.
Amazon Prime's The College Tour is a show that travels all over the world, covering and highlighting schools and universities. Former Amazing Race winner Alex Boylan hosts the show. He and film crew are in Southwest Missouri this week to feature Joplin's own, Missouri Southern.
It's going to be a more perfect place to do an episode of the College Tour. You know what this university stands for, the experiential education, the fact that Joplin is a really cool town, the surrounding area is beautiful, but the fact that it's such a health care hub, and the programs that this university has that is associated and partnered with the healthcare system is just the story we had to tell.
The show aims to highlight a multitude of things at the university, such as the biology pond, athletics, health sciences, and the mock trial courtroom.
Yeah, I can spell that, yeah.
Alex says it's important to show the raw student experience.
You know, we always say, this is reality at its finest. Because it's real students and it's their real stories. And we just kind of bring that to life with the episode of television.
In Joplin, at Missouri Southern State University, Jalen Banks, KOAM News.
The episode on MSSU is going to air in 2 months. A local woman today was prized with racing tickets. You may remember Miss Sweet Helen Hubbard. We ran a story about the then 100-year-old lifelong Chiefs fan a couple of years ago when the KC Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Now at 102, a couple, Kayla and Dwayne Barnhart, surprised Helen at St. Luke's Assisted Living Center in Carthage with tickets to a NASCAR race in Kansas City. Something that has always been a dream of Helen's.
So many nice people in this world that do nice things for me. I really had a lot of good, exciting things.
It's so neat. That NASCAR race, by the way, is going to happen in September. Some kids in Joplin are showing that learning takes time, but it's really worth it. More than 60 kids at Kelsey Norman Elementary stay after school 2 days a week for physical exercise. They also learn about kindness, compassion, and leadership.
I just want them to know that there is a cheerleader out there for them, that no matter what, nobody's perfect, you'll make mistakes, but I will always care for you, and I want them to have that.
Each of the kids gets a chain or necklace with feet charms that get added as they reach a certain amount of miles. And you can search for Let's Support Kelsey Norman's Running Club on GoFundMe to donate money for this after-school program. Russian forces are attacking along a broad front in eastern Ukraine today as a full-scale ground offensive gets underway. Fox News correspondent Trey Yingst has more now from Ukraine.
The Russian offensive we've been waiting for is now underway in eastern Ukraine, and the next few days could be crucial. Up to 75,000 Russian troops now deployed along a 300-mile front as shelling and missile strikes intensify. The Pentagon says it's a prelude to a much larger attack coming up. But the Russian strategy to isolate individual areas could buy Ukraine some time.
They're not going to go for this big sweeping maneuver because Ukraine showed that they can then go after their supply lines.
Russia is still adding to its military capabilities, but it's committing the bulk of its forces to this fight. The Ukrainians claim they've had to pull back in some areas, but overall, their defensive line is holding. The Pentagon responding to the crisis, sending 7 flights of weapons to Ukraine. They should arrive along the border in the next 24 hours, prompting accusations from Moscow that the West wants to prolong the war.
The growing supplies of foreign weapons clearly signal their intention to provoke the Kyiv regime to keep fighting until the last Ukrainian.
The pace of the Russian offensive will also largely depend on the fate of Mariupol. If the Russians capture the city, they'll be able to link up with troops from Crimea and push north. But the Ukrainians say they'll be ready, no matter what happens.
No matter how many Russian troops are driven there, we will fight. We will defend ourselves, and we will do it every day.
The Russian military says it hit more than 2,000 Ukrainian military targets in the past 24 hours. In Kyiv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
A bit later, some higher education alternatives.
The cost of college. I'm Lydia Hu with Fox Business. Coming up, a look at what is and isn't worth the tuition.
Goes for the dip.
Be a decent day for us today. We had sunshine during the morning hours and then very scattered pop-up thunderstorms during the afternoon. Some of these, though, were kind of moderate. We had some very small pea-sized hail out of some of them during the afternoon into the evening hours. Still ongoing for us right now. Severe threat returns tomorrow night into Thursday, and then again Saturday night into Sunday. Some heavy amounts of rain. Temperatures get warmer. Long-range forecast on my month-long blog, KOAM, newsnow.com. All right, where the clouds have been thicker with the ongoing showers in our northern counties, a little bit cooler into the 50s. Everybody else, upper 50s to lower 60s. And you can see the bands of showers and thunderstorms that have been rotating through over the past several hours. Majority of these have been north of Interstate 44. You can see this cluster kind of getting going out across Nowata County, northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Again, none of these are very strong. Little cluster from Fort Scott to about Pittsburgh, Girard over toward Parsons. Another little cluster once you get down in northeastern Oklahoma, so just to the west of Veneta, Nowata. Not a big deal, but these are going to be out there as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. A little heavier cluster just to our south, across southeastern parts of Oklahoma. As we get into the next couple days, we'll continue to see these little waves pushing out. So that's why we have thunderstorm threat. We do have a severe threat tomorrow. It's not screaming high, but this could go up as we go into the morning hours. But most of us do have a threat. 4 p.m. until 11 p.m. Main threats, wind and hail, but there is a tornado threat. I just have the hail threat a little bit higher across the region. Let's go through time. Hit-miss storms for us the rest of the overnight hours tonight. These may flare up a little bit, especially along the state line of Missouri and Kansas by morning, and then push through. It's real crucial on how fast these get out of here. So here's 1:30 p.m. This is just kind of cloud cover. If we break out and see some sunshine, by the time we get to 2 or 3 o'clock, we are most likely going to have an issue with these supercells that are going to pop up. So here's 5 p.m. These are going to roll southeast, and you can't take this map for, it's not going to look like this. We're going to have isolated supercells, so they could be anywhere really through the entire 4-state area. But if they do pop up, we have the potential for very large hail, and we're going to have a tornado threat. It may only cover about 20% of our 32 counties, but we are going to have that issue. Then scattered thunderstorms tomorrow night, and then the front lifts back toward the north late tomorrow night. So more thunderstorms. We'll have a severe threat with those into Thursday morning. I think our northern counties will continue with a threat into the afternoon, but most of us just warm up into the 70s. Then we'll get another band that tries work in Thursday night. A lot to talk about really over the next several days. Things will calm down a bit early next week. 67 tomorrow, 75 on Thursday. The winds are going to be up there as well over the next few days. Thunderstorm chances return by the weekend.
Going to be a busy afternoon for you and Nick Kelly tomorrow.
It could be.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Just have to see how things pan out. Doug Heddy, thank you so much as always. All right, coming up in sports, honors rolling in for Pitt State Track and Field, plus Columbus aiming for their 12th straight win against Pittsburgh. Danny Turnser has the highlights and more next.
A teacher performs in drag, the performance getting both support.
The Columbus Titans remain unbeaten at the midway point in this season. They're a perfect 11-0 heading into today's doubleheader. Columbus aims to stay perfect on the road against Pittsburgh. First inning, Lily Mooney grounds out, but Katie Simpson able to score from third to get the Titans on the board. Then bases loaded for Lexi Stone. She hits it back up the middle. 2 score off the double. It's 3-0 Columbus. Next inning, Gracie Major lays down a bunt. Throw goes to first, so Simpson is able to come home safely. The bottom half, Aubrey Saporito keeps the Purple Dragons off the board. 3 straight strikeouts here. To the third now, Pittsburgh hits a line drive to third base. Columbus turns the double play to end the inning. Saporito gets the shutout in the circle. Columbus takes game 1, 8-0. In game 2, big win for the Purple Dragons. Pittsburgh hands Columbus its first loss of the season, 6-2. Titans track and field host the Columbus Invitational this afternoon. In the girls' long jump, Independence's Nala Burns wins with this jump here, reaching 15 feet 9 inches. Alicia Harris is right on her tail with a mark of 15 feet 8.5 inches. Good for second place for Pittsburgh. The Galena boys dominate on the pole vault, getting the top 3 marks of the day. Randy Cockrell wins the event with a mark of 12 feet 8 inches. Logan Ward comes in second place, hitting 11 feet. Pitt State is on the road today for some midweek non-conference action. The Gorillas have lost their last 4, aiming to get back on track today as they enter the final stretch of the regular season. Pitt State at Missouri S&T, the first of 2 games between these teams this season. The Miners win this one 5-2. Garrett McGowan goes 3 for 3 with a double and a run scored. Jordan Maxon and Cruz Aranda drive in the 2 runs for the Gorillas. Pitt State is back in action for a series against Newman starting on Thursday. Pitt State track and field racks up the honors today. The MIAA released the Athletes of the Week, and 3 Gorillas earn the recognition. Braylon Brewer earns Athlete of the Week honors for the 2nd straight week. He posted the fastest time in Division II this season in the 400-meter dash, running it in 46.28 seconds. Brewer also helped the Gorillas 4x400-meter relay team secure a historic win. LJ Kiner set the top mark in Division II this season in the triple jump, and finally Blakely Wynn had the 2nd best mark in Division II this season in the heptathlon, including the 4th best long jump mark in school history. Back with more news after this.
This is your news update. I'm Jordan Albee. Amazon Prime's TV show The College Tour is on Missouri Southern's campus this week, highlighting the student experience, also the university itself. KOAM's Jalen Banks has more on this story.
Amazon Prime's The College Tour is a show that travels all over the world, covering and highlighting schools and universities. Former Amazing Race winner Alex Boylan hosts the show. He and film crew are in Southwest Missouri this week to feature Joplin's own Missouri Southern.
It's going to be a more perfect place to do an episode of the College Tour. You know what this university stands for, the experiential education, the fact that Joplin is a really cool town, the surrounding area is beautiful, but the fact that it's such a health care hub, and the programs that this university has that is associated and partnered with the healthcare system, it's just the story we had to tell.
The show aims to highlight a multitude of things at the university, such as the biology pond, athletics, health sciences, and the mock trial courtroom.
Yeah, I can scroll down, yeah.
Alex says it's important to show the raw student experience.
You know, we always say, this is reality at its finest. Because it's real students and it's their real stories. And we just kind of bring that to life with the episode of television.
In Joplin, at Missouri Southern State University, Jalen Banks, KOAM News.
The episode on MSSU is going to air in 2 months. We'll be right back. A new survey shows more than half of college graduates don't work in the field they studied. Of the college grads surveyed by Intelligent.com, nearly half live paycheck to paycheck and often not in the field they majored in. As the costs for higher education balloon, more borrowers, particularly millennials and Gen Z, have taken on more debt, which has other consequences, of course. Many reported putting off major financial milestones. 37.5% are waiting to buy a home. More than 40% are holding back on buying a car. 17.5% are waiting to get married. And more than 20% are waiting to have children. These numbers are unlikely to change right now, with interest rates rising and inflation at a 40-year high. Alternatives to four-year college degrees like trade and technology schools continue to rise in popularity. This as enrollment declines and young adults figure out they can make more money without the hefty price tag of higher education. Fox Business Network's Lydia Hugh has more now from New York.
A four-year college degree may not be what it used to be. Undergraduate enrollment is down 3.1% over last year. Many now turning to skilled trade schools as university tuition soars.
Is a college degree the only way to be qualified to do what I want to do? And then the second question is it the best way? Is it going to fast forward my entry point and then advancement?
People without degrees are out earning their peers with bachelor degrees.
There are trade schools and not your non-traditional trade schools now. Technology schools are exploding all across the country, and people are going through those in a much smaller amount of time and for a whole lot less money, and then starting at a much greater salary.
Right now, there is heightened demand for skilled trade workers, and people attending these schools often have less debt when they graduate.
Georgetown just put out a recent study that the number of people that are making more money in trades and trade schools than their four-year degree counterparts is growing.
Trade schools can provide people with career growth and the ability to start working right out of high school, as opposed to their four-year counterparts who can be delayed in earning a steady income.
People are starting to figure it out. Wait a second, this is what I want to do, and I can get there faster, and I can spend a whole lot less money in getting the ticket to do that.
Lydia Hu, Fox Business.
Gonna catch up with Nicolas Cage about starring in a fictionalized movie about himself. In a role he was born to play, the scariest, he says, he's ever signed on to. Nicolas Cage plays a fictionalized version of himself in his new movie. It's full of self-referential comedy and movie references for the biggest fans of his work. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin spoke to the legendary actor all about it.
Nicolas Cage, oh my God!
The action comedy The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent stars Nicolas Cage as actor Nick Cage, who accepts $1 million to attend a fan's birthday where the CIA recruits him to investigate his host.
I was scared because I didn't want to embarrass my family, and at the same time, I had to facilitate the director's vision, which was, anxiety-ridden, neurotic Nick Cage is the best Nick Cage because that's where the humor is. Is this supposed to be me?
He even plays movie star-focused Nicky and shared what he'd tell his actual younger self.
The real salt of our work in our path in cinema is the independently spirited drama. And boy, we did it again. We had, not only did we have Leaving Las Vegas, we had Pig, and Pig is the best thing we've ever done. So be happy about that, buddy.
I've seen Face Off and Con Air.
The film is also a fun walk down memory lane of iconic roles.
What is one character that you would love to see what you could do with them now from then? And then also, what is a film that you hope gets rediscovered, from here?
Well, National Treasure 3, I think their priority at Disney was to make a TV show. So that I just don't think there's any chance of that. But there has been some rumbling about Face Off. I got a nice call from Neil Moritz, terrific man, great producer, and he seems really enthusiastic about a possibility there. That could be really interesting. If I had to bring a character back, I think the character in Mandy is fascinating.
Have you seen Cruise 2?
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Nicolas Cage, bubbling with excitement, as you can tell. That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you with video of a baby kangaroo at the San Antonio Zoo seeing an Easter egg for the first time, hopping for joy. Hey, Nicolas Cage, you got to hop for joy like that, Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.